and gentlemen, we're only a mere short days away from the 2023 NFL Draft, so I think it is time for us to give our final Pittsburgh Steelers 2023 NFL mock draft.
And we gave a lot of thought into this mock because I feel like we've thrown some of our best the last couple of weeks with all our recent mocks. This time around, we did not do any trade scenarios, nothing, not even any mid-round trades. We've done that the past couple weeks. We're going to keep it very standard, very what we have now, what we have as we stand. No trades are included in this mock. It's just 17 all the way down to 251. And we're going to start off with the 17th pick where the Steelers select Darnell Wright, offensive tackle out of Tennessee. We really contemplated Joey Porter here because, truthfully, when it comes down to that day and that time and that pick, a part of me thinks Joey Porter will truly be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
If he's there on the board.
Right, but there's a chance he may not. One player that most definitely should be is Darnell Wright. Now, I would be much more comfortable taking him at 32, but he's getting so much praise and so much rise the past number of weeks, I don't see him dropping that far. If we don't take him at 17, I have a feeling he will not make it to 32. If he does, then that would be a very good selection at that pick. But with the fact that the Steelers are still focused on addressing tackle, there's been reports of the Steelers wanting to trade up for a tackle. Where they actually execute that, time will tell. But obviously the top three, Broderick Jones, Paris Johnson, and Pierce Karonsky, all have a chance of being taken early. The best tackle on the board in the Steelers' eyes could be Darnell Wright.
Yeah.
There is a drop-off in terms of talent and production at the tackle position, but Darnell Wright is seriously a sleeper at his position. He is most definitely the best right tackle in the draft. Now, that is key to note. Right tackle. He does have experience at playing left tackle. He played in 2021 at left tackle, over 900 snaps at the position. And he could play that position, but at the next level, he should not play left tackle. He is primarily and most dominantly a right tackle.
Yeah.
Now, the first couple years, his tape wasn't much of anything, but what was his progression, his continued progression at the tackle position. And the fact that he has over 4 years of starting experience, over 40 starts at the tackle position, as well as over 2,700 snaps at both left and right tackle combined, that makes him arguably the most experienced tackle prospect this draft class. Over a Paris Johnson, over a Broderick Jones, who only really have 1 full year as a starting left tackle.
And it could be one of the reasons why his draft stock has increased drastically, because the start of all this draft process, he was actually a projected day 2 pick. Now he's risen in stock enough to potentially be taken, potentially at 17 for the Steelers.
And I remember at the very start of the draft process, man, there were early reports where the Steelers really loved Darnell Wright, and that hasn't changed. And the fact that his stock has risen, that really continues to show how teams view a guy like Wright. Now, what would the Steelers do with Wright? They're going to plug and play him at right tackle. What do you do at left? You move Chucks there. That's been a rumor. That's been a theory going around the entire offseason. And if that's the case, that might happen. They might have Chucks move over to left tackle, maybe even battle with Dan Moore for that starting role. But I think Chucks is capable of playing left tackle. I know the Steelers have done that in the past, but the fact that they have that
flexibility.
Exactly. They could very well do that. Now, I would be much more prone to taking a predominant left tackle.
Yes.
Because that's what we need. We need a true left tackle. I don't know if moving Chucks over to left is truly the answer. Is he an upgrade at Dan Moore? Probably. But is he like the true answer at left tackle? Maybe not. But we're going to go Darnell right here just because of the interest, and he is very good. And I do think that the fact that Steelers are really looking at the tackle prospects, and early on they were really looking at the right tackle prospects, that they could select a guy like Wright at 17.
And we've been very prone and very, very, open about taking a tackle at 17, whether that's more so left, but if we have to go with right tackle, it's not going to be the end of the world. At least with a guy like Darnell Wright, you're going to have a true capable guy that can remain there at right tackle. And with Chucks, you can move him to left, have an upgrade there at left tackle, and he can be there for the next couple of years at least.
Right.
And right there, your offensive line for Kenny and Najee is pretty much fixed.
Absolutely. But mostly because Wright might be the best available tackle on the board at 17. Obviously, if there's like a Broderick Jones there, I'm running to the podium with that guy. but there's a chance he may not be. So we're going to go Darnell Wright here.
That's the next best option. Moving on, guys, with the 32nd overall pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers select Deontay Banks, cornerback out of Maryland. Now, there is a true possibility that Banks could not be there at 32, but crazier things have happened in the NFL draft. It happens every year.
Because very similar to Wright, Banks is someone that has risen his draft stock since the start of the draft season. He might even get first-round talks. There's been talks of the Steelers taking Banks at 17. I would not be for that at all. I feel like that's rushing corner when corner is stacked this year. And I don't think Banks is exactly first round. 32 is definitely more favorable for the Steelers to take him.
Now, I have to disagree about first round. I think he's first-round talent. I just don't think he's top 20 talent.
That's fair.
I don't think he's top 20 talent. I feel like he could be taken in the later parts of the first round, but again, talent could fall out of the first round. Banks could be one of them. And if he's there at 32, I absolutely see the Steelers taking him because apparently, according to reports, they absolutely love Deontay Banks.
Well, it's obvious that the Maryland connection continues to strike with the Steelers. Now, we don't have a lot of great history out of that school. Sean Davis, Antoine Brooks. Who else do we take from that school? Derwin Gray. So there's not a lot of promise. There's not a lot of success when the Steelers select guys out of Maryland. But Deontay Banks has the potential to be one of the better guys to come out of that school in recent years because this guy is a very good cornerback. He is sticky. He's aggressive. He can work in the run game. He is not afraid to get physical. He has great size for his position. He has that cornerback 1, at least cornerback 2 potential.
Yeah.
He's that good. He is that good. He's that aggressive. He's that sticky. And the fact that he would work under Peterson and Wallace, probably not be an immediate starter, maybe get his feet wet in some rotations for sure. Maybe they even move Patrick Peterson around since he has the desire for that, and they can get Banks' feet wet outside in some sub packages before he would obviously be that number 1 guy that they draft him for. I just see the Steelers taking a cornerback early just because it's a position they need to fix long term.
Yeah.
And this is a very good draft class for them to do that. If they want to wait till day 2, like a pick at 32 or even 49, if a guy drops, then they could still solidify a corner for the long term with that position because of how stacked it is. So, again, we contemplated Joey Porter at 17. We ultimately went right, and we go Banks at 32, man. I think the interest is just high for them for when it comes to the Steelers, and I think they'd be very good, solid picks to take on early for sure to solidify their respective positions. But Banks is just a very good talent, man. I think he would help solidify this secondary. He's young. He's physical. He's a very good cornerback.
Now, he's not the most polished. He's not the most consistent cornerback, but having to sit under Peterson and learn from him, his veteranship and his guidance, I think that would do a lot for Deontay Banks for his promising career.
Yeah. Now moving on with the 49th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Daiyan Henley, linebacker out of Washington State. I know we took Cole Holcomb and we grabbed up Atlanta Roberts all in free agency, but we still need that full-blown athlete. We need that linebacker that can have that sideline-to-sideline speed, work in coverage, is still a freak in the run game. We need a full package. Daiyan Henley is one of the more underrated guys at the linebacker position. Linebacker is pretty decently stacked for day 2 selections. If they want to wait till day 2 to take a linebacker, which they most likely will, they can grab anybody that day because that's how stacked it is.
Yeah.
But Daiyan Henley is one of the more fluid coverage linebackers. They have their pass rushers. They have their run-stopping guys they picked up in free agency. They have no one at the linebacker position for that coverage aspect.
No.
Henley's one of the more fluid guys in his class. And what's great about him is I believe he's a former receiver turned linebacker, and he's already this fluid at his position. He's already this well advanced.
Yes.
Like he is the athlete. He is the coverage guy that the Steelers need at linebacker to just work on full time and long term.
And have to, with the veteranship and the leadership of Holcomb and Roberts, as they both had that for their respective teams previously, to have Henley work behind them and work in rotations. You know, you don't have to throw him into the fire immediately, which is a good thing because Henley could work on a few kinks here and there, obviously, but Henley is a promising aspect. He's a promising prospect, actually, and a future piece for the inside linebacker room.
I agree.
We don't really have a long-term solution at inside linebacker. I like the guys that we brought in, but we don't have anybody long-term if you think about it.
I think whoever selects Henley day 2 is going to get a very good starter for the long term. And with the Steelers, very similar to Banks, he wouldn't start immediately. He might be the starter, but he's going to be a part of some serious rotations when it comes to obvious run-down plays. He'll be inserted in in certain packages, maybe on passing downs to get his feet wet there. So, but Henley has everything that the Steelers are looking for in terms of size. He could bulk up a little bit, but he has the desired size, the speed, the athleticism, and the coverage ability, as well as the traits in the ground game to just be that long-term guy for the position.
Yeah.
Someone that we haven't had at the linebacker position. We all hope with Bush. We know how that turned out. And hopefully we can strike with someone like Henley. Day 2 is a good day to select a very good linebacker for the Steelers. They can pick anyone anywhere and still get a great guy, but Henley is one of our favorites for sure. And he just feels like the typical Steelers prospect, where he's a former he's a position-turned linebacker that they can kind of work with, and a guy like Aaron Curry can work with. Very similar to the Mark Robinson story, but bigger and more fluid at his position already.
Much more advanced at the same time.
Now, with the 80th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Gervon Dexter, defensive tackle out of Florida. The past couple mocks, we have taken defensive tackle very late. This time around, we go late day 2 with our final pick in the day 2. Because there is still the fact that we don't have that full-blown defensive tackle. We don't have that run-stopping, gap-filling guy. Someone like Dexter, 6'6", over 300, is a gap filler. He has the size. He had a great athletic showing at the pro day and in his combine, which is what the Steelers could use at the defensive tackle position. Unlike a Siaka Ika, who would be great and would be pretty much a Casey Hampton-like because he's that massive. Almost like a Vita Vea type guy, right?
Yeah.
But you still need someone with great size, but as well as some athleticism at the next level.
And that's exactly what Gervon Dexter brings. He showed that a lot in the combine. For his size, he can move very fluidly. He's a ferocious run stopper. An occasional pass rusher here and there. But
yeah, his pass rush skills could definitely be better. You would expect more with someone of his size and his athleticism to be more of a pass rushing guy. But
for the middle of the defensive line, all I ask is a guy that can clog the hole and fill the gap.
We need someone that can help in the run game, man. Someone that could disrupt the line of scrimmage. This is that guy. He's strong, he's physical, he's athletic. He's just the perfect gap filler we need, and the Steelers have shown interest in the guy as well.
Yeah.
Defensive tackle is one of the positions that I don't know where or when they're going to go. It could be late date. It could be late in the draft.
Yeah, because
they've
throughout the entire draft process, they've shown many interest and many prospects when it comes to first-round talent like Brian Breezy, the second-round talent like
Keanu Benton, then Gervon Dexter, and Siaka Ika.
Mozzie Smith, guys like that.
Then you got like Carl Brooks, who could be a day 3 guy. So I don't know where they're going to take D-tackle, which is why the past couple mocks, we've taken D-tackle late. This time around, we go at the final pick of day 2, just because we're keeping all our options open, just like the Steelers are. They're looking at everybody. They're looking at all round prospects to see who's on the board and who's going to be available.
I think a big part of that is because of Andy Weidel, as he was a big fan of filling the trenches when he was in Philadelphia, and I have a feeling he's going to do the same thing for Pittsburgh, and that's something that we need.
But one thing you got to note about that, with the fact that he likes to fill the trenches, he likes to do it with size and athleticism. Dexter fits that to a T. So, yeah, with the 80th pick, we go D-tackle to fulfill our pure D-tackle for the future. Now, in the 4th round, 120th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Nick Herbig, edge out of Wisconsin. I would not be surprised if the Steelers take this guy with the 80th pick, just because, one, they need an edge guy badly. We have nobody behind Watt and Highsmith, and that was evident last year.
And with the unfortunate non-signing of Bud Dupree as he went to Atlanta, we literally have nobody.
It makes it a bigger need. I wouldn't be surprised if they do take an edge piece at 80, whether that is Herbig or somebody else. They've looked at some of the bigger prospects. That could be a best player available option. The amount of picks they have day 2 and early on, they could get away with a best player available option with an edge piece. We've talked about that previously. But in this one, we go Herbig in the 4th. The reason why I think he might drop is due to his size.
Well, not only that, but the fact that the edge depth or the edge draft room is so stacked.
It is. It really is.
Many guys could drastically fall down to the later rounds than many people could anticipate. And Herbig's size does definitely play a part. He's a little smaller for an edge guy,
but that's a positive for him because he doesn't let that get to him. In fact, that actually helped his arsenal of pass rush ways to still get to the quarterback. Which you look at his statistics, you look at his film, he gets to the quarterback consistently at a great rate. And obviously, he's the brother of Nate Herbig, who the Steelers signed. And the Steelers adore those bloodlines very much. So, based on that factor, I think Nick Herbig is going to be high on this Steelers radar, not only due to the positional value and the positional need, but because he is part of NFL bloodlines, as well as he is a Wisconsin Badger who, obviously, T.J. Watt came from the same school, and I think T.J. Watt would take another Wisconsin alumni completely under his wing.
Yeah, and I think I've heard that he's actually a pretty big fan of Nate Herbig.
Yeah,
he sees a lot of potential and upside for Nate Herbig.
Hell, last year at the Wisconsin Pro Day, T.J. Watt was there to evaluate the talent, and he was helping Nick Herbig. That was last year. You're telling me that if we draft Nick Herbig this year, Watt would be completely in favor of that, and I think that'd be perfect for the edge room, man. We need that edge piece. We need that rotational guy, man. Nick Herbig fits that to a T. If he's there at 120, I think it's very impossible to pass on him if you haven't taken edge earlier.
Of course.
Now, obviously, we don't have a fourth or a fifth, or we don't have a fifth or a sixth round pick. We could trade somebody for it. I would like to see that happen. We've entertained Kevin Dotson being that guy just based on the fact that we could give him an opportunity elsewhere and he has some trade value and he has no need on this team no more.
But the more I think about it, how much trade value does he have, and is a team going to want to trade for him when they more than likely think this man's probably not going to stay with the team?
But why not?
Why give away draft capital?
But why not for a fifth or sixth rounder? Why not throw a flyer like that? I think that's why we could trade for him.
Maybe he doesn't have much value. Maybe teams don't think that of Dotson.
Maybe
that's
not.
a possibility.
But in this mock, we do not do that. Thus, we only remain with our 2 7th-round picks. We traded 2 34th away for Allen Robinson. Now we got the 251st back, so we still have 2 firsts. But our first 7th is the 241st pick, where the Steelers select Clayton Tune, quarterback out of Houston. We just think that one of the 7th-round picks is going to be a quarterback. They don't have a third quarterback, and that's not like the Steelers to go into the draft without 3 quarterbacks on the roster, which makes me think they're going to take a quarterback late. And a guy like Clayton Tune is someone they brought in for a pre-draft visit. He has what the Steelers are looking for in terms of a backup, as well as a training camp body and a practice squad kind of model for certain quarterbacks on their schedule.
Yeah.
Because he's a competitor. He's very good at protecting the football. He's willing to put his body on the line. He's someone that can also use his legs to extend drives and get points on the board. He's someone that's not afraid to run the football. He's just a competitor. He is a modern NFL quarterback, and in the NFL, he's going to be a very good backup. But for the Steelers, he's going to start as the third guy behind Mitch and eventually work his way up to be the number 2 right behind Kenny.
Yeah, of course. Now, I will say this. Is it a possibility that they could just wait till after the draft and sign a guy undrafted? Absolutely. But why not secure a quarterback? Why not get a third quarterback in the draft? They did something similar to Presley Harvin not too long ago, just to secure that they had a punter.
But didn't we also think that last year with Connor Hayward? Like, you could have gotten him as an undrafted free
But why
agent.
not, secure your guy, make sure that he truly is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. So why not do that with Clayton Tune?
Yeah.
And get your third quarterback.
And I think the Steelers do the very same thing with the 251st pick, where the Steelers select Derius Davis, wide receiver out of TCU. Now, we did grab Allen Robinson from the Rams. Very good trade. I think that's the veteran piece we seriously need in the wide receiver room. Whether he's here past 2023 will be determined, but still love the move. And that might take wide receiver completely off the board, but they could still take someone late just because it's the Steelers. They love to take their receivers. But also, Derius Davis is probably the best return specialist in this draft class. 5 career punt return touchdowns. We have no punt returner. We have no return specialist. We have Gardner Olszewski, who has his job back for now. Calvin Austin could get his feel in there. Maybe they get Anthony Miller going in there, right? Maybe an Anthony McFarland. But we still need extra competition. We need extra bodies, and we need someone with the fluidity, the speed, and the experience and the success at the punt return ability. Darius Davis, like I said, is probably the best at that category this draft class. Now, he is undersized. He is very much like a Tutu Atwell or a Calvin Austin-like figure, 5'8", 165, skinny dude. He is. But for what his role is going to be, for the speedster, for the return specialist, he might see some offense. He might see time in the offense as that end-around guy, as that jet sweep Matt Canada special type figure, right?
Maybe some screens here and there. Who knows?
Right. But he has, for his body and his frame, he has the role to be the return specialist. And I think he fit that tremendously. I think that's the return specialist we need. I think that's someone that will fill that hole for the next couple years. He just has the success, the experience, and the makings to be a very good return specialist in the NFL.
Absolutely.
As well as the speed that we have lacked at that position for a while now. So I think he'd be a great selection. You could get him undrafted, but the Steelers are going to want to secure that extra guy. So they take it with their second, 7th round pick, the pick they got from the Rams in the Allen Robinson trade with the 251st pick. So we get Derius Davis. So why not, right? Why not? Anyway, guys, that will do it for our final Pittsburgh Steelers 2023 NFL mock draft. Let's know you guys' final mocks in the comments below, as well as your thoughts on this one. And as you guys know, man, mock draft season is officially over. All this will be irrelevant come Thursday.
Yeah, probably.
But,
who knows, man?
But speaking of Thursday, man, that is when the NFL draft officially starts, and we will be live for the NFL draft. We are incredibly excited. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be one wild ride to see what's going to happen throughout the night and who's on the board and who the Steelers select with their 17th pick, as well as day 2 and day 3. It's going to be exciting. I cannot wait. We'll be live for it. We hope to see you guys there and just enjoy the journey with us. As speaking of the NFL draft and going live for it, we will be having 2 giveaways for night 1 and for night 2. Night 1, you guys can enter to win a signed Najee Harris jersey and your choice of a Steelers 2023 draft hat. Could be the black one, could be the white one, whether it's the dad caps or just the snapbacks, whatever style you like. The winner will get to choose their choosing of a Steelers draft hat. And day 2, night 2, our 10K giveaway, the signed Hines Ward jersey. For all those that support us for all the years, we're giving that away on night 2. The winner will be announced then. The links to enter, you guys have a couple days left. Both giveaways end on night 1 of the draft. Both links will be pinned at the top of the comment section where you guys can enter. There's only a few days left. You guys still have time to get your entries in. Get yourself in that. Otherwise, this is the Steel Twins signing off for the Steelers draft season. And now Omar Khan, Andy Weidel, Mike Tomlin, Art Rooney. It's in your hands now.
Work your magic, man. Work your magic. Let's see who the next branch of Pittsburgh Steelers will be.
I cannot wait. Let's know your guys' thoughts down below. And see yins on draft night. Here we go, Steelers.
And like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see yins later.
Peace!